The topic everybody seems to be talking about now is mental health. And that is because we are collectively, as a society, having more and more problems with mental health. 1 in 10 Americans are depressed. About 1 million people die of suicide every year. So what have governments and narratives from overall highly influential people done to solve this? The government tells you to get onto antidepressants. See, over the last few decades, the number of people being treated for depression has tripled, and yet 1 in 10 Americans are on antidepressants. That essentially means about 33.5 million people are on antidepressants in the United States. Clearly, it hasn't done much to help though, has it? The game is money. The government sees pills profiting despite other mental health treatments working better. And what do you think they pick? Yes, money, the pills. Or any other influential person that could help you make change? Maybe even just a common consensus about managing mental health issues? Just to open up. And yet, coming back to this point again, depression and any other form of mental health issue that you could even think of is at its worst rate in history. So if pills are a scam, if opening up in a lot of instances is a scam, what are we missing here? Well, we have to go back to every generation that had lower rates of mental health issues than we do today. What did they have back then that we do not have today? Well, we presume the answer is nothing, because supposedly we have developed so far as a society, but yet our ignorance has made us fly by this. What every generation had that we do not have as much of is purpose. It was the standard back then to have a purpose, because all you had was your work and your family to protect and provide for. The work in itself wasn't just a money grab, and people were genuinely engaged in their work. But if it was a money grab to them, where did that money go? To providing for their families. So either you were attached to your work, or you just have enough money to make sure your family lives another day. But then again, it was mostly a case of both, in enjoying your work and providing for your family. Now, things have changed. We don't have as many families anymore. We work jobs we hate. Our money is put into meaningless things that end up owning us. Your job is a money grab, and the money that is spent through your job is spent going to nothing meaningful. There is no more meaning in living anymore. This is it. It's not that we need to pop more pills. It's not because we need to spend thousands more on therapy. We need to fix the issue that caused the mental health crisis in the first place, meaning in living. Because if this was not the case, suicides would not be at such an awful rate. Depression would not be at such a high. People would not be saying such ridiculous things like saying they wish they were aborted. Can you believe that? People wish they were aborted just because of how meaningless their life is. Do you know how heartbroken a mother would be to hear that? From the book The Body Keeps the Score, early on in this book, there was a story from a Vietnam veteran who had awful levels of trauma. I mean, he had to be away from his family a lot, in particular July the 4th when a lot of fireworks were going off. I mean, he had drinking problems, all of it. But he was a lawyer, and when he was working on a difficult case, all those problems went away. He didn't have trouble sleeping. Traumatic flashbacks weren't coming in. None of that. All of these stories that we hear just shows that our mental health is a piss take to the government. I'm not saying C-19 was bad, but you had people working with the government in the medical field that said that the mental health crisis that came through the panic of C-19 was worth it. They were aware of what would happen to most people's mental states, and yet they continued to cause panic. If that is not an indication that the government does not care about your mental health, then I don't know what is. But you do not have to be a product of the government's carelessness toward your mental health. As we can see, we need to give ourselves a purpose to fix our mental state. So what can you do if you're starting from ground zero and you aren't like me, as someone who has a plan and is carrying it out? The basic goals that everyone wants is to be well built, have a good physique, and to be wealthy. Now these things actually cannot be attained without good mental health, at least not as beneficially. But the catch is, work needs to be put in to get the good physique, to get the good bank account balance. You have to lift weights and eat well to become well built. You need to identify if you need a cut or bulk based on your current weight. As for the financial side, it's definitely not so one-dimensional. The simplest advice that you could not go wrong with is just to simply read. Great books are out there, such as The 4-Hour Workweek and The Millionaire Fastlane, that will teach you about money. But you can also play the riskier card and buy a course. As for learning how to make money, finding out money-making methods. Without a doubt, the safest one would be Hustlers University, which is now I think called The Real World, that of course Andrew Tate and his team released. Once you find what you want to do for making money, that's the big purpose and plan that you will have that will truly bring meaning into your life. But working on these things to attain these goals of being well built and being wealthy will already help your mental health with just the process itself. When the results come in, which given could take a few years, your mental health will skyrocket even more. And also, you could do 2 practices that can help your mental health this instant, such as journaling and meditation. If you do all 4 of these things, lifting, reading/anything money related, journaling, meditating, you're officially on self-improvement. These are self-improvement practices that can be turned into habits with repetition, and they will completely transform your life if you continue them for years and years on end, particularly in your mental health. Chances are you don't need pills. You don't need therapy. You don't need a bath with a bath bomb to fix your mental health. Align yourself with a purpose to bring meaning into your life, and you'll be doing quite fine. To end off, I ask you to share this video with someone you might think that needs it. I really want this video to help, just like the information in this video helped me. Alright boys, but if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to subscribe. Also share with friends so we can spread our self-improvement community here. Speaking of our self-improvement community, you can check the Discord down below, where we have a bunch of people growing our self-improvement as the community keeps growing. But with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you in the next one.